Welcome to Business Over Beer, where entrepreneurs, small business owners, and people passionate about what they do bring us their stories and their favorite beer. Hosted by Ben Surratt, Jonathan Kaler, and Jason Knope, it's time to get down to business and drink some beer.
Three, two. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the second biggest podcast in the Pacific Northwest. Still on the heels of those Sasquatch hunters, this is the Business Over Beer podcast. I am your co-host, Ben Surratt. Alongside me, as usual, on the screen, on the upper left, is the man of the hour, the terror of power. Some people call him the space cowboy. Some people used to call him Stitches. No. We call him Spartacus. Mr. Respect the Hair himself, Jonathan Kaler. Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Oh, hello, Ben. What a lovely introduction. As always, alongside you from a safe social distance. I may be in the upper left of your screen, but I'm always number one in your heart.
Always.
And I'm so glad that we're back together on Friday night, talking business, drinking beers, and we've got such a cool guest tonight. We get to hear about some animals that have almost as cool a hair as me, but I don't want to get too far down the road. Hey, and speaking of animals who have better hair than me, we got the gangsta of Hazeldale. Are you down tonight, Ben? With the Knopp?
You know me.
Jason Knope, welcome back to Business Over Beer, my friend. How you doing?
I am doing pretty well. Been a long week, and I've been looking forward to getting together with you all, drinking some beer, talking some business. I say,
well, here we are.
Here we are.
Do it. Let's do this.
All the thing we just need right now is a guest. Do we have a guest?
We have a guest. We have Shannon Joy with the classy Camelids from Richfield, Washington.
Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, Shannon.
I am so excited.
And she's not just joking, everybody. Like, she's excited.
I'm really excited about my beer because I matched it with my llama.
Oh, I love it. Well, we're going to get to that. Don't jump the gun just yet. We're almost there. But I have to say that, you know, as a lover of words, I learned a new word because I could not figure out what Camelid was all about. I thought, does that have to do with the hair on these alpacas because they're super cool? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what this is all about. So tell everybody what a Camelid is.
Yeah, the Camelid is the parent animal name of the camel, the llama, and the alpaca. So it flows a lot smoother than classy llamas and alpacas.
It
classy
does. No,
it does.
I think it's awesome, and yeah, it made me think about what it was, and I honestly didn't know the word, so I learned something. That's cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We always like to get into your business first before we do anything else. So why don't you just share with everybody the 50,000-foot view of what you do and what Classy Camelids is all about?
Yeah, so I'm the owner of Classy Camelids. I formed it just about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's my entertainment meet and greet portion of what I do with my life, where I take our llamas and alpacas to help engage in the community. So a lot of people invite us to their weddings, their birthdays. A lot of corporations bring us out for client appreciation days or promotional gatherings. We do a lot of Christmas parties and Easter parties and harvest festival community days. It's a lot of fun, and it's what helps keep me funded to volunteer my time on the over 100 therapy and educational visits I take my llamas and alpacas out to. So that's where our mission started was with our nonprofit, and that's fully supported by, or it's mostly supported by the Classy Camelids entertainment side of everything.
Wow.
That is incredible. You said 100 different
Therapy and educational visits. So we go right inside nursing homes, memory care, special needs groups, adult daycares. We do a lot of colleges to de-stress during finals weeks. And yeah, just whatever you might possibly need to hug a llama or alpaca to de-stress, to calm down. People with anger issues or just high anxiety. It's just a really unique form of therapy that you can't help but laugh and smile when you're around them.
Hey, why'd you guys look at me when she said anger issues?
Well, Kayla, I was going to say, dude, you're so calm today.
That's because I got my dose of alpacas yesterday. I'm cool, man. It did the job. JP and me, man, we were like,
you guys had a connection.
We did. We absolutely did. So that is awesome. I cannot wait to learn more about what you do. But this is the Business Over Beer podcast. This is the beer portion, and Ben,
I am thirsty.
I know you are, bro. So, Shannon, we ask all of our guests to bring a beer to share. Have you brought a beer for all of us to share?
I did.
Tell us about the beer. I know you're excited.
I am so excited. I haven't had it before, and with the warmer weather coming, now I'm getting into my IPAs. I like to drink to the season, so I brought Hop Valley's Stash Panda Hazy India Pale Ale.
Awesome.
But it has grapefruit because I love citrus in my IPAs. I'm not like a big super hoppy fan, but I love when you have citrus in it. So
I'm with you.
Is there a particular reason why you chose this beer?
Because I have a llama named Panda, and it's called Stash Panda, and I just like to match my animals whenever humanly possible. Yes.
All right.
Well, I actually love Hop Valley. I think they brew great beers. I know that they are partially, maybe even majority owned by one of the big beer establishments, but I like Hop Valley. They brew good beer, so I'm excited to take a sip.
Delicious.
Everybody ready?
Prost.
Prost.
Prost. Yeah, I like that.
So does it match Panda's personality?
Oh, no. I don't think it's fruity enough, or I think it's a little too serious for him.
And this thing is full of fruit, so Panda must be awfully fruity then.
Yeah, he's a little derpy and a little, I don't know, all over the place.
He's derpy?
Derpy.
What is derpy?
Like, he's not all there in the head.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we have one of those too.
He's really great. I love him so much, but I think it's because he's not all there in the head.
Same. That's it.
It's scary sometimes.
What do you think, Ben?
So I like it. I'm a big fan of grapefruit, and I thought, oh, grapefruit peel is what it's made with. And that makes more sense with the more bitter on the back end of the feel of it.
Yeah, it doesn't have that big like juice punch that I was expecting, but you're right. That's a good catch on the grapefruit peel, because it does have some of that. It's got some of that tropical flavor to it.
The nose, man, like
but it's got the bitterness on the back, which I really like. So yeah, that's a good beer. That's an easily crushable.
Oh,
beer.
yeah.
And at 6.5%, that gets a little scary.
Canope, what do you think?
I like it. When I poured it, I could immediately smell the grapefruit.
Yeah.
It's nice. Tastes good.
Cool. Shannon, did you say you liked it already?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think it was that bitterness that I was thinking isn't as fruity as what I would say for like, you're right, it does have a lot of grapefruit, but it's that kind of bitterness that I was like, doesn't really fit Panda's personality. I think if it was more of the grapefruit juice, then it would have been a little bit more spot on.
I get you.
But I like it.
And if
It's
she
good
would have
summer beer.
described it as bitter, then you would have said, well, we've got one of those too.
We got one of
So-
those too.
Yep.
Yeah, that it would be called Stash Diego instead of Stash.
Oh.
Ash Diego.
And that'll come in handy for some of my fans out there who just get that. He's a spitfire, pun intended.
Well, there you go. Well, we've got Derpy Panda Canope and bitter Diego Kaler. Now we just gotta figure out who you're.
I thought you were Derpy. Not me.
You thought I was Derpy?
Yeah, that's who Ben was pointing at.
No.
Nope.
No.
Canope.
No.
That's sweet. That's sweet, Canope.
I'm just a jackass.
We gotta find your alpaca alter ego
For sure.
by
Yeah.
the end of this thing.
Well, Shannon, before the end of the podcast, you have to pair me with one of your alpacas or llamas. Deal?
One of my camelids. I will try to.
Camel.
There you go. Even better. Which
But you
one of your
work-
camelids is the most ADHD?
Ah.
That's funny.
Let me ponder that for a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, probably Benny, who's one of my favorite llamas.
When the fuck are the odds of that?
Yeah,
Pretty
I'll
good,
be
I
a-
would think.
he's very much like all over the place, but he's also very focused and honed in on certain. Like he'll like focus and hone in, and then he'll be like, "What was that?" You know. Anyways,
Like a squirrel?
yeah. Like kind of. Yeah, he's pretty cool. That's my show llama, Benny.
Hey, there you go, and you're our show pony, Ben.
Oh,
Perfect.
So Shannon,
oh my God.
you weren't always in camelids though, right?
They're my first like actual pet. I've had like cats growing up, but they were like those kind of cats that run and hide under your beds. They don't actually like snuggle with you.
But as like a business though.
Oh, it didn't work.
That wasn't your goal. I mean, you didn't see that. You were telling us a little bit like you've always had an enjoyment for them, but it wasn't what you thought you'd be doing right now, correct?
Yeah, Llama Mama wasn't really a job they were offering in high school when you take your classes, like your tests to see what kind of job criteria you should go after. Llama Farmer wasn't an option. Yeah, no, I've always had the Mod Podge kind of jobs of where life took me. So my first job was at Battleground Cinema when it very first opened up. I was a part of their first crew for a couple of years in high school. And then I worked at Macy's in the cosmetic section. And then my cousin really needed help with his kids, so I nannied for him for a year. And then I went and served and bartended with McMenamins for 3 years. And then I went to another restaurant for a year and was a trainer, like a server trainer there. And then I finally got to Llama in like around 2016. Was when I finally got to quit it all and join forces. My mom and I have been sharing our llamas since 2007, but she kind of did all of that solo until I could join her full time in 2016.
Was that so when that transition came in 2016 from what was that like and what did that look like for you? Like where were you at in life? Were you up in the air? I didn't know what to do. What was it like for you?
Yeah, so I was married for 4 years and I was with my husband. We went around, we were supporting him. He went to Oregon State University, so we were in Corvallis. And we would rotate. He was in an internship program that took us back and forth. We moved every 6 months for almost all 4 years. And so we moved back and forth between Portland and Corvallis. And so it was really great working for McMenamins, having that transition. And then I had always thought that when he graduated college that we would then come set up roots in our hometown of Vancouver, be close to family. I can then pursue my dreams of working with the llamas because they were growing in popularity year after year. And I just had to sit by the sidelines watching my mom have all of the fun. And so when we finally got to that place, and I was really excited to join her, and yeah, it just kind of worked out. I got divorced and joined Full Forces and took over the whole company around, well, I rebranded and took things over so that way I could actually make an income. Because my mom, this has always been kind of like, she started sharing our animals because of the passion of the joy that she saw of the people's reaction with their animals. And so she only brought in enough money to kind of keep it up, kind of a hobby paying for itself. So when I joined her, she wasn't really anticipating paying anybody anything. And I kind of need to make a living. I don't have, she has my father to support her. So she's fine. She'll always have a roof over her head and food on the table. But I don't really have that kind of, I didn't have that luxury with my ex-husband. So yeah, I kind of joke a little bit that I chose the llamas over him. But he's local, so I don't want to say too many bad things, but I definitely am really, really thankful to be where I am now. And now I have my own business and thriving. It's really exciting to be a part of this, but I had to start everything from the ground up. She wasn't having a business that could pay anything. So I had to figure out what that looked like and charging what I was worth and how to restructure and make sure that our mission of sharing them for therapy and education was still always the focus, but how can I make sure I pay my bills? So I'm still living at home, 32, and so it's kind of worth it. But in about 4 years, I think it's appropriate. And I think next year I'll be like the year I can adult.
So did you grow up around llamas and alpacas? I mean, how old were you when you first started being around them?
Yeah,
was it a lifelong thing?
No, I probably got introduced to them around the age of 11 or 12. So we moved from Tigard up to Vancouver, up to Brush Prairie, and had 2.5 acres. And my family was looking for the right lawnmower for our acreage. So we don't have to. Our family is very lazy. It's all a matter of how can we get things to help us do this thing. So
smart, not hard.
And llamas, we just there used to be an annual llama fair at the fairgrounds called the Llama Affair. And so my mom saw that sign and she was like, "That's interesting." So she popped in. She got so excited. She ran home. She grabbed me, and I got to go meet my first baby llama. And I was probably around the age of 11. And oh my gosh, he was so stinking cute. He's about 3 years old, and his name was Cusco, of course. To an 11-year-old, it was like lightning bolt. And but we didn't have fencing, we didn't have a barn, we were not ready to raise any llamas. So I joined 4-H, and so through the youth program, we joined that for a full year and learned about what responsible care and upkeep and training of a llama would be. And so after a year of doing that, we went llama shopping, as you do. It's kind of like shoe shopping, but for llamas. And we found Rojo. He was our very first llama. He was the right fit, and he was just perfect. He was 3 months old, and he would just follow me around like a little puppy dog, and it was love at first sight. So we bought him, and then we realized that we're going to get all boys, because you usually separate boys from girls, and we weren't going to be breeders, and we didn't have the pasture space to have both genders. So when we found Rojo, we went, all right, we're getting all boys. So then we found 2 others, because we had to wait for him to be 9 months old to be weaned from his mom. So we had some time to try and find that first herd, and that's how we got started. So Rojo is my 4-H animal for the first 5 years of his life. And just going to the fair and walking in parades and being at community days, he loved the attention. He was bulletproof. You could just take him anywhere. Kids were screaming and laughing and hugging and pulling on him, and he would just stand there and soak up all the attention. So we knew we had something special with him and had to get him certified to share with the community.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So talk then a little bit more about sort of the business side of it. So you come on with your mom, and your mom is doing the nonprofit. therapy animal side of the business. So how did you come up with your business plan? How did you come up with the ideas of how you could actually make an income and do it in a responsible way, do it in the way that still serves the mission of what you guys are all about? And just kind of talk about that process of, you talked about you had to start from scratch. So how did you start? How did you get it from nothing to where it is today? Kind of talk about that process a little bit.
Yeah, it's really hard. It was quite a fun puzzle to figure out, because you can invite llamas to almost anything. and so people from all over the spectrum, even at schools are definitely my biggest gray area, but we'll go to just anything. We've done baby showers and bridal showers and all sorts of things. And the way that I made it structure in my head, and the things that I realized, was there's a big difference between our animals showing up and people getting their pictures with them. And they're having a great experience, and we're educating about the therapy that we do with them. And it's all very, it's more than just a photo op, but there's something about it that feels to me like a photo op. And so I then structured it, well, if you're going to have us come and entertain your guests, and it's going to be an entertainment feel, then I'm going to charge an entertainment price. And so that's kind of where I began structuring it in more of black and white terms, versus if we get a platform where we can educate about the therapy work that we do, about the difference between llamas and alpacas, about the animals in general. And if we're there for a special needs group, or if there's therapeutic needs at play, then that's going to be a part of the nonprofit. So that's kind of how I've structured it. Even at a lot of school visits, we're there to help. Even on de-stress days, we're there just so align forms and people come and take pictures with them. So I charge them a entertainment price with a reduced educational discount. And that's kind of how I've realized how to kind of structure things a little bit, is that it kind of all comes down to, are we kind of playing the place of like a band? Then I'm going to charge that accordingly. Versus if we're there as like a teacher or a speaker, then I'm going to place a higher value on that. And that's going to actually be a much reduced price, if not free, depending on the scenario.
Sure. And were you engaging, or was your mom engaging in those activities already as part of the nonprofit, and you figured out how to monetize that? Or was this a whole new avenue of exposure for your animals and for your business?
Yeah, we began doing everything. Everything was under the nonprofit originally. It kept going back and forth depending on the situation. And it was just, there's so many gray areas depending on the type of visit we go to or the appearance that we do. And so since everything we do is educational, we're constantly talking to the public about everything llama related and alpaca related and therapy related. So it could have fallen all under the structure of the nonprofit, but it's no guarantee that that's the case, because sometimes you get too many crowds and it's hard to be as vocal to everyone. So that's kind of where I decided to make it more black and white. But we've been doing all of this. Let's see here. We started sharing them for therapy and education in 2007. And we had our first wedding gig in 2011. And so it just kind of grew word of mouth. So it wasn't like we were advertising for the entertainment type gigs. That was just like if people came to us and invited us, we found it as an honor. And we thought that was really cool that people wanted to share like their big special life moments with our animals. And a lot of it was because they had seen them at a nursing home. They saw us engaging with their mom and they thought it was amazing and they want us there for their kid's birthday, And so it was all very relationship based for so long, because my mom's not a big marketing person, although she's a genius. She would take everyone's picture and then give them all cards and say, go on our Facebook page to download your picture. And so she was so smart with engaging and she didn't even know it. So yeah, we were doing a lot of that already. And then as I came on and I was being more hands-on, I started recognizing that, hey, some of these people are just inviting us for the photo op, specifically like birthday parties for like 20 somethings or certain weddings. They just want it for the Instagram. And so like Instagram content. And I'm just like, I just kind of feel like that's fine. I don't know. It feels more exploiting versus having that relationship base with people. I would say 1% of people that have ever invited us have used it for that purpose. The rest of the 99 other percent is all been because of a relationship based, which is really pretty fantastic.
What do you mean when you say relationship based? You mean like with other people, with the llamas itself, or just the whole experience? Excuse me, the whole experience with the llamas and everybody involved.
I mean, like they've seen us at other things, and so they know who we are. They follow us on social media, and they know the animals, and they know that we are more than just a photo op, that what they're contributing to is going back into the nursing homes and going back into the schools. So they know we're one of the only llama companies in the country that do both entities, that share our animals and prioritize our animals for therapy and education, and then weddings as well. Because there are other party llamas and alpacas across the country that have been blowing up. We went viral for weddings in 2016, 2017, one of those years. It's all a haze now, but we went viral for wedding llamas, and that just blew up. And then, yeah, exactly. And then, and so now other farms have been jumping on the bandwagon, and you'll see other wedding llamas and alpacas popping up across the country. And it's I think most of what they do is just entertainment stuff, where we really prioritize the other aspects.
I got an idea for you.
Yeah.
Llamas in corporate structures, like corporate photos and stuff. I mean, that's probably something that Business Over Beer could help you out. We could do some corporate photos with the llamas and alpacas, and get you
like
into
headshots?
that. Get you into that arena.
Well,
like headshots with llamas? Like,
yeah, or just pictures of us doing corporate things with the llamas.
Oh.
And then, maybe, one of the big companies calls you up and says, hey, come on out. We want to have corporate photos taken with the llamas.
Yeah, I went to a real estate agency in in East Side Vancouver, and they did that. I took Benny inside their offices, and they started doing photo shoots with them as like doing a PowerPoint presentation, but the llama is the presenter.
Perfect.
And they had him at like the bar top in their lunch area, as if like they're all having like a business meeting. It was really
funny. That is funny.
Yep.
It was good.
So I'm not going to give you credit there, Derpy, but
No, it's okay.
I will say that's a good segue. I have a question here. I'm curious, and I was only going to ask this later, but since I've got the opportunity for a segue, what's Zoom crashers?
Oh my gosh, the most amazing thing that's come out of quarantine. I can't even believe it. So, because all of what we do is all public related. It's all us going off of the farm currently. And we're excited to transition and do more on the farm. But currently, our whole operations is taking llamas into nursing homes, which are on lockdown right now, and into schools, which aren't happening right now, and into weddings and big conventions even, and as soon as the lockdown happened, everything not only canceled, but canceled, but I also had to give refunds. So not only was money not coming in, I take deposits, and now I had to give money back out. And so every week that this happens, I'm continuously giving money out. Now, luckily, June was a lot of community free days. Like we had, we were hoping to do like the Grand Floral Parade and the Junior Parade. And in April, we had a lot of freebie. We were going to go to the Providence Center for Medically Fragile Children's Easter party and the Washington State School for the Blind's Easter thing. So those were all free, and I didn't have refunds for those, which are fantastic. But yeah, it was just purging of money, and it was a hard, that first month was really hard. And then all of a sudden, I get a text from someone saying that llama Zoom crashers were a thing, and it's going viral. And so I woke up, and within 2 hours, I created my own photo shoot of my llamas crashing a Zoom call with my friends so I can promote and publicize. And that's a thing. Like, for having our llamas crash their Zoom parties because people are getting, what's it called? Zoom
bombed or whatever it is.
They're getting like, people are getting deflated by looking at their screen all day, every day.
It's Zoom fatigue.
Yeah, the
Thank you.
fatigue.
Zoom fatigue. Everyone's getting Zoom fatigue. Everyone's kind of over online meetings. And so the llama is just having a llama face all of a sudden one of those squares or on the main big square is just so delightful. And so, yeah, we crash for 15 minutes. We take you around the whole herd and you get to meet all the llamas and alpacas. You get to see their personality through the screen, which is pretty neat, and learn fun facts about them. And it just kind of lightens the whole day for you and rejuvenates and kind of gets your brain on a whole other structure. And so, yeah, I've been doing a lot of, between last month and this month, I'll be doing over 100 Zoom calls.
What?
Yeah. The first 2 weeks I did over 50 in 2 weeks.
All right.
2 days I had 9 and 8 Zoom calls, and those are my 2 longest days. But yeah, they're only 15 minutes each, and I can do them. I get requests all over the world. I have 2, I did one last Saturday, and then I'll do one next Saturday, so a week from Saturday, for a college in the UK to help de-stress their students while they're in finals weeks over in the UK.
How are you generating those leads? How are you generating that business to that level? Are people finding you, or are you somehow marketing this as something that you do?
Yeah, I'm just trying to constantly be out there on Instagram. We have a huge following. I have around 30,000 followers on Instagram. And those followers are very dedicated and just the most amazing fan base. Oh my gosh, they're my lifesavers. When the shutdown happened and you just feel so isolated, I can go on Instagram Live and everyone is there. My friends are from all over the world. They're there crashing it, telling me such positive feedback. And so, yeah, the community surrounding llamas is phenomenal. And so I'll do a company Zoom call and someone will be on there that didn't invite us. She experienced it, and then she'll have us come to their niece's birthday party. Or we did birthday Zoom crashes and graduation Zoom crashes. I have one lined up, I have to confirm, for Father's Day. We did one for Mother's Day as well. It's a lot of fun, and it's been really cool because I've had some followers for years that I finally got to see face to face. One in the Netherlands and one of them in Florida and some in New York. It's been really cool.
I'm just wondering, like, when you have all these people, when the shit hit the fan, right? And then all of a sudden one friend says, "Did you check this out?" And then you're like, "No." And you looked and you're like, "What the heck? I can do that." And then the next thing you know, you have 100 or 50 and then 100. What was your emotion like? What was that roller coaster like for you as a business owner?
I mean, just seeing money in my bank account again, knowing that I could pay my bills, knowing that when I went to the grocery store, I didn't have to pay attention exactly to the amount I was putting in my grocery basket because I could pay for it all. It's those things that I was really, one, I was grateful. I just moved back home in December. And so I was really thankful that I didn't have any rent to have to deal with. But here I was applying for business loans so I could pay myself, and that was all on hold. Didn't really hear any feedback from that. And I was just on the verge of taking out another loan, and then to see money coming in. And people are really good about, people are really good at, if I send them an invoice, it's paid within 5 minutes. They're just so eager about having the llamas be there and a part of it. So it was just really nice to all of a sudden go, "Oh, hey, I've actually paid off a credit card in quarantine because of all of this." And it's just been really, really, oh my gosh, just so wonderful. Now I have seen it start to slow down a little bit. So I was really promoting because we only have a month left of schools. And one of my biggest things is virtual field trips for classrooms, helps engage the kids who are all on their laptops all day now. And so I've been doing a lot of virtual field trips. I've done some from like New York and Colorado and Ohio and Texas and California. It's been really cool. Some local schools as well, but it's been really neat, the kind of exposure I've been getting.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, thank goodness, because it went from real fear and sadness and depression. But I've always been really motivated. It was like, as soon as quarantine happened and the shutdown, I went, okay, it's time to redo my website. Like, let me make sure that all of the information I need to have on my website is up to date. And how can I, when I go to a wedding, how can I be more educational about how these are therapy animals? And so I just kind of really took it as a time of what back end, I'm given the gift of time. How can I utilize that? And that's why, as soon as my friend from Pennsylvania texted me about the Zoom calls, a friend I've never met, he's a big fan of the llamas, texted me about the Zoom calls. I arranged it within 2 hours of waking up and going, all right, you guys, who wants to jump on a Zoom call with my alpacas right now? And arranged that. I enjoy marketing, is one of my favorite things. I love marketing. I love being creative. I don't like the numbers of being a business owner. I don't like all of the back end of emails are my biggest issue, especially since they tend to flood in at one time. But I really enjoy being creative. So that's one of the blessings of this time.
Who would want to see Jean-Pierre all jazzed up?
Is he not the cutest?
Right in the middle
oh my
of the
gosh.
film, yeah.
And Jean-Pierre he's a 4-H animal. So just like how my 4-H leader lent her llama Shania Twain to me to show for my first year in 4-H while I learned about llamas, I now do that with youth in my 4-H club. So I have 2 kiddos that come over almost every week to work with their own animals. And JP is a product of that. He's been a 4-H animal for 4 years, and that's why he's a rock star. Yeah.
That is so cool.
That is incredible.
I mean, what other like 200 to 400 pound animal can you just pass off to like children and go, here you go. You can go walk him around now.
Taylor.
Nope.
Taylor's fairly cute.
You don't want me off a leash around kids. That's... me and Diego are in the corner smoking cigarettes going, this sucks. I hate this shit.
We got Benny and me. We're just got ideas, and then a squirrel goes by, and then we're like, "Hey, look!
Hey, did you see that? What? I don't know. What are you talking about? Hey, Benny, I'm thirsty.
I am too.
It's time.
Okay.
No, not time to end it.
No, I know. So, yes. Shannon.
Yes.
And what she does is she brings us a mystery beer. You know Angie, right, Shannon?
Yes, I was excited to meet her yesterday.
Yes. No. Yeah, whatever. I'm married to her. Oh, wait, we got to cut that out. Cut that part out.
We'll fix that in post.
Oh, she heard me.
She's listening. She's listening.
I thought you said this wasn't live.
She goes, she did. She popped in. I heard that. So Shannon, every episode of the Business Over Beer podcast, we drink beer, obviously, but there is a segment called Angie's Mystery Beer. Who is Angie? Angie's my lovely wife. Oh, every episode she brings a mystery beer, and we don't know what it is. Okay, and Kaylor, how do you put her beers that she picks? How do you explain it?
Typically, they're high octane.
High octane. She did say I was easy on you guys. She did.
Which
say
would be
that
like...
mean? What does high octane mean?
high alcohol.
Oh, cool.
Oh, fuck you up.
Cool.
Shannon's like, yes.
Yeah, all right.
That's
So,
why
Angie's-
my IPA is at 6.5. I don't like to drink IPAs less than 6.
And Angie's belief is, why should I drink 10 beers when I can drink one and be done?
Yeah,
Like-
I'm a big fan of having like one high alcohol beer and then going down to like those the little seltzer alcohols, you know?
Yeah, Angie likes the high alcohol beers and then going down to bed.
Pretty much. So, you have one.
Yes.
I have one. Kaylor has one. Canope, do you have one?
I have
I
one
have
right
one.
here. I'm trying
Okay,
to
so
not
what we
touch it
try to
away.
do, and it's going to be tough, I know. Do you have a opener?
Yeah.
She is on point. We try not to look and just, yeah. Mine's all wrapped up in this towel. You'll cheat.
You would cheat.
Dang it. And I saw the cap. I just saw the color. I didn't see what it was. All right.
I was gonna say the grocery bag is messing with me because I thought I saw one thing yesterday when she gave it to me, and then I thought I saw another thing when I pulled it out of the fridge today, and then I thought I saw another thing on the cap today. So like,
She's
I
listening.
don't know what I'm looking at.
She's listening and smiling.
It could be anything. It's not an imperial stout. We got that going for us, guys. It's not an imperial stout.
Taylor said it's not an imperial stout. She said she was nice to us.
Well, that's a first. Thanks, Andy.
Prost.
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 Whoa.
I will say that could be anything.
That could be anything. Shannon, what do you think? Don't cheat.
No.
That's Ben's gig.
It just doesn't seem like there's anything that's like sticking out in flavor. It's very
It's
I don't
kind
know.
of middle of the road, kind of
Look
garden
how clear
variety.
it is, though. Look how
Mhm.
clear it is.
Guys taste like a cucumber or something in there.
It's light, but like
Hey,
I
Kano,
wanna-
give me one of your cheese balls. I got to clear my palate here
yeah, I need a cheese ball. The palate's messing with me.
because I'm afraid that it's lighter, which is strange because normally her beers are heavier, but I think it's lighter than the pineapple peel.
But I want to say it's, and this is going to sound bad, but it almost tastes like juniper or a something like that. It's weird.
It's not that gin and tonic.
No,
beer
it
again,
won't
is
be that. There's no way it's that.
Whew. I mean, it's not hoppy enough. I don't think it's hoppy enough to be an IPA. I think it's a pale ale.
It's got to be a pale ale.
I think it's a garden variety pale ale.
All right, Shannon, reveal.
Pull it out of the bag. Let's see what we got.
Laguna's little something hazy.
Oh, the little something hazy.
But it's
It's not hazy.
not hazy, Ben. I can see you through it.
Limited. Oh, it's a limited freaking release. Oh my goodness! Did you see this? Look at the very bottom.
What am I
Bottom
looking
right.
7.2.
Yeah, Shannon, your type of beer.
I can't believe that's 7.2.
It
It,
would
doesn't
be.
drink like 7.2.
That'd be
This is-
dangerous.
This is scary.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's almost too bland. I would only want to have one.
Little something.
I don't know,
hazy.
there's, like, not-
Wow, I gotta take a picture
Well,
of that.
And what's little
It's
something?
good, it's
Little
really
something is
easy.
their little
That's
something
not
is
gonna
their
be-
pale, isn't
There's
it?
little something, and there's little something something, which is their Big Daddy.
But once
Apparently-
again, it's interesting, Ben, that your wife, who I don't think, well, she
Don't
did
say
once
it.
with Elysian, but I don't think she's ever bought big beer. Or
You're right.
craft beer from
You're
a
right.
big beer, other than the one Elysian. Other than that, she's been kind of craft beer, independent beer. And so we've got Hop Valley and Lagunitas, which are both owned by Big Beer.
Look at that picture. Yeah, I mean,
So
the
it's again just an interesting
yeah.
connection between the guest
Yeah.
beer and the Angie's Mystery Beer.
she's over here looking, and she's like being self-conscious about it. So
Oh, I like the label a lot, by the way. You should read around the edges.
it's good. It's
Lips
fine.
and
If someone
cheekbones.
has the whitens your teeth and lifts your cheekbones,
Right.
and only shows your good side.
Oh, limited release too, guys.
I'm confused, Ben. Why is she self-conscious about this? Is it because that she's not normally in the room when
Now
we're
she
drinking our
left.
beers?
Yeah, now she left.
Oh boy.
Oh wait, now she came back.
Yeah, she's preparing and plotting.
I mean,
She,
I mean,
The next one.
that the last one, Canope.
Yeah,
Plotting.
I know. The
Ooh,
next
I
one's
just
going to be bad.
7.2. I'm digging it.
I mean, I like the beer. The beer's
It's not.
fine.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
There's not, to me.
It's not hazy. It's not
to me,
hazy.
I don't think it's hazy.
No way.
And B, I don't think it's terribly interesting. I think it tastes good, but I don't think it's terribly interesting.
Yeah,
it would
that's
be
great.
it would be fine to come home from a day of work, or to come home after shooting hoops or something and sit down and drink this. I think it would be very refreshing, and it tastes good. It's just not
Agreed.
terribly interesting. Which, to be honest, and I don't think much of Lagunitas in general. I am in the minority there because a lot of people love Lagunitas, and when they sold out, there was a lot of hate, kind of like with 10 Barrel. People love Lagunitas. I don't know. I don't get it. Most of their beers I've had, I think, are lackluster, in my opinion.
I dig it.
But-
I dig them. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It is what it is.
But that's
So-
the beauty of drinking beer is
Exactly.
we just drink beer, we talk about it, and there's no shade, there's no hate, there's no whatever. It's just that's this beer today. So good job, Angie. Thanks.
Good job, Angie.
And it wasn't 10 to 12% alcohol, which I really appreciate since I've had no dinner.
Oh boy, we're in trouble next week, bro.
Oh, we're gonna get creamed next week.
Yeah.
Oh, she's just gonna
Oh.
crush us.
I'm going
It's
to
gonna
have
be
dinner.
bad. So Shannon, I want to know about your business some more, and I want to know about. So when we started the podcast, the three of us, we had to sit down and we discussed, hey, what is our intention? Is our intention to be a podcast and just be a couple of guys three guys messing around, drinking beer and having fun, or do we want to make this a business and have a business model? Every business goes through this. It's called taking your passion project into your business. Did you have that conversation? If you did, what did that look like? With your mom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And working with someone whose livelihood wasn't at risk for whether or not the mission and the business model worked out or didn't work out causes a little bit of tension sometimes between us. Or it has before in the past. But yes, that's definitely something we really had to work out that very first year. It was really messy trying to sort out where we were going, where we prioritized our time and our energy with our animals. Because we very much want to share our animals in the best way possible, which means saying yes a lot. And sometimes saying yes constantly isn't the healthiest for your business. And so we definitely had to learn that, figuring out when to say yes and when to say no, and sorting out healthy habits for our company, and when to do things for free for certain organizations and when to charge more for others, and all those fun details that aren't fun to try and figure out why one is more important than the other. I hate playing favorites. It's one of my worst things ever. I hate that. So kind of structuring it between the nonprofit and
What
the
do you mean by
therapy.
that? I'm sorry.
Oh, like sometimes we work with some entities that we've just always worked with over the last 12 years. They've been with us since the beginning. And so we will, like Dev Lewis Animal Hospital is the organization that originally certified Rojo and Smokey, our two llamas, for therapy and education. So we do a lot of their fundraisers for free as a thank you for their support throughout the whole years. And it's been a really wonderful relationship with them. But then you have other organizations like schools in Beaverton or Hillsborough who are like, hey, can you come and do our fundraiser? And then I have to think, well, why does that school get something and this other school doesn't? And then I have to regulate, well, it's out of my community, right? It's not in Vancouver. It's not in Ridgefield. So yes, we can come, but for a price, and maybe you should find a sponsor for that. You know what I mean? And so those kind of conversations are just, as when we were small and no one knew about us, we could say yes to all of those things. And then people thought that that was a routine. And then once we have too high of a demand, now you have to try and regulate a little bit more and structure a little bit more. So yeah, in terms of finding a business model is definitely something. So so when I came on board in 2016, it was really perfect timing. My mom very much likes to control everything. She loves to have things done how she likes to have them done. And in 2016, my grandparents both got really, really sick. They were transitioning into an adult care community, and like my grandpa was going through a lot of health issues. And so my mom actually had to drop everything. Had I not come on board at that exact same time with just like 2 or 3 months of transition before she left, then we would have stopped everything, would have had to shut down, because my mom had to drop everything and go be with her parents during almost like a 3-year health things between my grandpa passed away like after 6 months, and then my grandma, when we moved here, she moved in with my parents, and she was battling so many health issues that my mom was just with her for like 2 years, day and night, assisting with her health battles. And so it was kind of perfect timing for me to come in, take over, try to figure out what that balance was of our foundation of what we wanted to do with our whole farm as a whole. And now this was my grandma passed away, I think, a year and a half ago now. And so this has been the first year and a half my mom and I have actually been working full time together and trying to refigure out that balance of what that looks like as she comes on more hands-on in the therapeutic and the nonprofit side, and I can focus a lot more on the classy Camelids side. And so yeah, it's every year is so different because the demand changes. One year it'll be really wedding heavy, some other years it'll be really school heavy, and you just kind of have to roll with what demands come in, and then also balancing it out with our mission statement and who we are as a farm. So now with quarantine happening and the shutdown, okay, well, now we can restructure as phase 2 happens. We can start allowing families to come to the farm and experience intimate family time with the llamas. And so we're trying to figure out how to restructure that as we focus on bringing more people here to the farm. It allows a lot less stress on the animals because we're not taking them off, although we're very, very animal stress conscientious. We will say no anytime that there's a high potential for stress on an animal. There's just no working with them. They don't have a voice. So I have to pay attention to their body language and making sure I don't over ask anything of them. So otherwise they're not going to do it. They don't want to. If a 400-pound llama doesn't want to do something, I promise you he's not going to do it. And not only will he not do it, he will revolt. So you don't want to make them angry. They're like gremlins, right? Like, just don't get them angry. Don't get them.
Don't feed them after midnight.
Yeah, don't get them wet.
And so, yeah, just kind of rolling and making sure that our number one focus is for the community, and then all the entertainment stuff is just kind of on the side. They'll all come in as they do. It's just one of those things. We're not very business women oriented, but I'm learning a lot and trying to become more and more.
Well, I wouldn't sell yourself short there at all, because you're developing a new business. I mean, even though you've been at this, what'd you say, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
That you've been doing the classy Camelid side. I mean, you're still a very young business for someone who has never been a business owner before. And the fact that you've been able to do what you've been able to do is really impressive. And I would not sell yourself short. I think you're a fantastic businesswoman. And the thing that impresses me, and the lesson that I wanted to mention earlier when you talked about the Zoom crashers, the decisiveness, like that is a trait of a business person that is so imperative during crisis or not. But just, you saw an opportunity. You didn't hem and haw. You didn't say, well, what if I did this? Or I don't know how this is going to go. Or maybe it's not going to work, man. You just made the decision. We're going to do Zoom crashers. I'm going to make it happen. And we're just going to go. And the other thing is, you're very clear in your mission, which is so important for businesses. And I just want to say, from an outsider looking in, I mean, looking through your website and trying to learn about you and what you guys are all about on both sides, both the classic Camelid side and the nonprofit side, the thing that struck me was it's all about the animals. And that is very clear all throughout everything that you guys write. Your love, your passion, your care, the safety, and the well-being of these animals comes across crystal clear. And so don't sell yourself short. Don't say that we're not good business, because you are. My God, I mean, the fact that just because your mom says she doesn't like marketing doesn't mean she's not good at it, because that's a freaking awesome idea what she's doing on Facebook. And the fact that you've been able to build this community on Instagram and be able to monetize it the way you have, not like Kim Kardashian does, right? You've monetized it into a community that gives you referrals and ideas and brings you business. That is outstanding. It's outstanding.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And that's why I'm here. I was talking to a mutual friend, and she mentioned your co-host, and I was like, oh my gosh, I emailed that day, because I'm like, hey, I want to get connected to Vancouver. We are so well known in Portland, but my biggest issue is that we're a Vancouver business, and we would love to get more connected to our own community.
I thought that was interesting. I actually have that as a question. I want to dig into that a little bit. Why do you think, as a Vancouver business, you've done better in Portland than you have in Vancouver?
Yeah, oddly enough, it's so funny. Vancouver is such a hit and miss crowd. The people that live in Vancouver, I think a few things. I think there's just a really mixed crowd that lives throughout Vancouver. It's so spread out, and there's such dramatic demographics throughout the county of Clark County. But then also, I think that we live in enough rural environment to where there's almost like a 2 degrees of separation from someone who owns farm animals. So the idea of having a farm animal come to your establishment or to your party feels a little bizarre, because you have someone who owns cows or has horses or something, you know what I mean? So there's almost too much familiarity to it. Whereas in Portland, there's like no familiarity, and it's so exciting. So I think that could play a role. I honestly don't know.
But another thing that Kaylor was mentioning, and I'm going to like tack on what he was saying before, is your passion with the animals itself, but you also want to educate. You want to educate people about the animals. And I think that's your, in my opinion, that would be, and to get into the community, and I'm just giving you my opinion, is to lead with that part. It's about education. It's entertaining, of course. Yeah, it's cute. But I want to educate people about the the camelids, and I want to educate people and children about how to take care of animals and just to be respectful of who they are, as because you said it yourself, they have personalities, and to recognize those personalities, that's all education, and that can be used in the community, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, totally. I think as soon as we start opening up the farm to allow people to come here and get educated, I think that people are looking for that kind of experience. Absolutely. Um, yeah, I know one of my biggest events, or my biggest, actually a couple. So I've done, so I like to do these things called llama libations, where we take our animals to a brewery and just like hang out, and I get to have a beer with my llamas. Which is why I thought this would be a great
That's so
community effort right here.
Oh my goodness.
And so
yes.
I've done him twice now. Well, actually,
I would pay to drink beer with a llama.
I totally would.
Yes.
yeah, I did one with Thirsty Sasquatch one time, and it was awesome on their back patio. And I got a lot of referrals from that. A lot of people remember meeting my alpaca Napoleon at that event. It was also around holidays, so he was just like a reindeer, and that's always really fun. It's like the adult version of Santa Claus, which is super neat. And then Doomsday Brewing had us out for their Zombie Brew Fest one time, and that was really big. And they've invited us a couple of other times, but they keep inviting too late, and I'm already booked. But those are always, I feel like there's something about people who drink beers that kind of like get llamas a little bit more. They like the kind of kitschiness of it, and they're just like, this is cool. Versus us going to like children's birthday parties in Vancouver, I've been like hit and miss with the crowds that are there. They like don't want to touch the animals as if they're dirty or something, which they're so pristine when we take them off the farm. So I don't know. I've talked to Three Peaks Brewing, because they're right up the road from us, and I asked them if after I go hiking, if I can bring my llama by and I can have a beer with my llama after going for a walk up the road. And they're like, yes, you can totally do that. They have such a big, nice outdoor patio space. So I was like, sweet. So I'm going to start doing that. I reached out in the winter, so this would be my first summer doing it. But when they open, I'll probably go do there. And that's what I like to do. I like to hang out, no commitment, show up, have a beer. I get to share why this llama is here. That's definitely one of my biggest like fun things I get to do. But
Dude, it's llama networking. It's Camelid networking. It's fucking it's BNI for Camelids.
And people come to us. They come for real. They come and ask like why. I don't have to reach out.
I mean, why are you here? What are you about? Oh, here, let me tell you what we're here for.
Yeah, it's really natural once people can see them. It's very unnatural when you don't experience it. It's hard to kind of explain the emotions that come. I mean, before yesterday, your idea of meeting an alpaca, did you get the same experience as what you thought, or did it exceed your opinion? You know what I mean?
It kept my kids happy for a half an hour, and I was like, yes.
Ben, what happened when you texted us? You said, I've got the llama lady on the hook. We're getting her on the show.
I did.
And what did I say?
You sent me the picture.
Immediately. Immediately. I was like,
yeah,
that's awesome. My kids loved, they loved that at the Christmas event.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Port of Vancouver has been such a huge client of ours. We're so grateful for them, and the Vancouver Night Market. And so we are slowly getting connected to some really big establishments, which is really fantastic. It's not sustaining as in like there's things each quarter to do with them, but even just once a year, it's really, really nice, especially evening events, because our animals don't like to be off the farm past sundown all too often. And so if we can stay in Vancouver during the holiday time is really great.
I'm that way too, man. Once the sun goes down, I'm ready to go to bed.
It's a really good excuse to be like, I can't work past 4 that day.
I tell you what, yesterday was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with livestock next door. And so it was cool. And the fact that Jean-Pierre was all dressed up.
Dude, that was awesome.
He is awesome.
It was so cool. And he was just so chill. It was pretty cool. You know, guys who we should send an alpaca or a llama to?
Obama?
No, the Sasquatch hunters. We should send one out there. I wonder how they would appreciate it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I'll jot that down in our
jot that down.
our to-do list.
There you go.
Awesome.
Shannon,
Yes.
one more question. Are we?
We're there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, every episode, Shannon, we have one final question. And it's the most important question of the entire episode. Are you ready?
We'll see.
Okay. You can take your Camelids, one of your favorite Camelids, anywhere in the world to meet anybody. Where and who?
Oh boy. Oh my gosh, duh. I would take him. Okay. And if you read you read my form that
The
I
bio?
had me fill out, you will
I have
know.
it right here. I'm looking at it.
Okay, you will know that one of my lifelong goals is to go drink my way through Epcot. So I would take my llama Benny to Epcot to meet Mickey Mouse and have a beer with my llama and Mickey.
Does Mickey drink?
Hell yeah, he drinks. What do you think gets him through the day? Hey, top 3 countries you'd hit at the beer and food festival at Epcot with your llama.
Oh, Epcot. So
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's drinking her way through Epcot. She's going to all
Yeah,
the countries,
she's like
bro.
she's doing
She's going
all of it.
all around the world.
She said through Epcot
Woo!
to
I'll hit
get
all.
to Mickey.
There you go.
Yeah, because Mickey, I mean, maybe he shows up each country at certain times of the day. I don't know how his schedule is over there.
Does anybody know his assistant? Can I get on the calendar?
You know, I would venture to guess that he would just ride on the alpaca with you.
Let's zoom Mickey.
Let's not get him on this call.
Shannon,
I know where we
thank
can
you
find
so
out
much for joining us on Business Over Beer. This was a great conversation. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed learning about you and your business. If people want to find out more about Classy Camelids or about your nonprofit, where would you like people to go?
Everything is under our legendary llama, Rojo the Llama, R-O-J-O. Rojo the Llama on Instagram and Facebook, rojothellama.com. Or that's our nonprofit site, Wedding Llamas or classycamelids.com is our entertainment site. So
Outstanding.
Awesome. Canope,
Yes, sir.
if people want to know about Business Over Beer, where do they go?
They go to bizoverbeer.com, B-I-Z overbeer.com. And they can see all of our social media handles there. They can listen to our podcasts there, audio versions. They can listen to YouTube video versions of our podcasts and check out some blogs and a little bit of info about all of us and past episodes.
Soon to be DiegoTheLllama.com. Bitter as hell.
Shannon, thank you so much. You are
Oh,
doing a
yeah.
great service, and I'm so happy, like in this world, especially now especially on social media where everything is so negative and diverse and not diverse, but just separated, and everybody is so mad at each other about stupid stuff. It's good to know that we have Camelids to bring us all together.
well, thank
Damn
you.
right.
It's a joy sharing them with everyone. Yeah, it's really fun that your only conflict on our page is between Diego and everybody else.
Diego and everybody.
Haters are everywhere.
I guess I've teamed up with the wrong guy, but somehow it feels appropriate. So
Thank you again, Shannon. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of this.
Oh, it's so cool.
Good night.
Bye.
Business Over Beer reminds you to always drink responsibly. Our theme song is Idiocracy by Christian Leo. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Business Over Beer.
It's much better than Kaler than a top hat and tie, that's for sure.
Have you ever seen that, brother?
What's that?
It's on point. Kaler in a top hat and a tuxedo.
No, now we got to see it.
Oh,
But
it's on point.
it can't be as good as a llama.
Oh, it's definitely not as good as Llama.
Few things are. Did I mention I was divorced?